Hi, my name is DelmarshaeWalker. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is doing great today. I seen something that kind of blew my mind on Instagram. I was looking at different stories, and it was a story about a mother who was doing a press conference talking about her 6-year-old son being, I'm gonna say allegedly, but being either sexually assaulted or actually raped on a school bus. And she stated that she didn't realize what was going on with her son until his book bag came up missing, and she wanted to see what happened to it. The bus driver, but first let me go back to what the mother said. So the mother said her son's book bag was missing and she wanted to know what happened to it. So she said she reached out to the, I guess, bus district or whoever runs the bus system, and reached out to them to see what happened to the book bag. So they looked on video to see, and that's when they found out that her son was being assaulted. So they end up calling her back, had her come to the school, and then that's when everything was explained to her as far as what happened with her son. And there was also a police officer there to talk with her. They did take her son to the hospital, and it came back that yes, he was assaulted. But then the bus driver was saying that this is one of the things that kind of confused me. The bus driver was saying that she pulled the bus over because she heard commotions and she thought that it was a fight going on. And the mother's lawyer was like, yes, there was a fight going on because he was being raped and he wanted to try to stop it. But at the same time, the mother didn't find out what was going on with her son until the book bag was missing. So it's like, my question is, when did the bus driver actually pull the bus over? And then what happened? Did she ever, if she thought it was just a fight, did she ever report a fight was going on the bus? Or is it required that they report any incidents that happen to kids on buses? You know, it's like, that kind of didn't make sense to me. And that doesn't, it's like, what did you see after you stopped the bus? Or did you just stop the bus and yeah, hey, knock that off? Or you know what I'm saying, what happened when you stopped the bus? And then the mother said, as she continued to talk to her son to kind of, I guess, kind of grasp everything, because I know that has to be shocking to her, that her son, her 6-year-old son had experienced that. They didn't say how old the other boy was. They just said an older child. And so the mother said, as she continued to talk to her child over time, she found out this was going on for approximately 6 months. So it's like, I understand that these are kids, but it's like, are we really at that point where everyone is just so desensitized that no one says anything? Or do they see things going on and just feel like this is normal, this is natural, it's nothing that I, even question my mom about? Or like, hey, I seen this going on the bus. Is communication dead? Is it all about being on the phone and just tweeting and texting? And is that the only kind of communication people understand now, that when it comes to verbal communicating, they don't know how to do that? It's like, I'm not blaming these kids or anything like that. It's just that for 6 months, this child was going through this and nothing, And so if the child would have came home with their book bag, would it have been another 6 months that this child had to suffer through this? That it wasn't, I wish, not because I understand these are kids and everything like that, but I wish they would at least said the age of the other person to kind of get an idea of the age range that you're working with and the mentality. I understand with the 6-year-old, yeah, he's still a baby. He don't know, but it's like, was it just all elementary school kids? Because at what point do a child look at another child and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do to him? So that makes me also question the other person, the other child who committed this, who did this. Are they being molested at home? And then they feel like, I got to go do this to someone else. Was it something that happened to them and they're just passing it along to to someone else doing the same thing that was done to them? Or are they being exposed to sexual, conversation, something sexual, in the household that they're seeing that's piquing their curiosity that they go do this to another child? Or is it all this mess that's going on in the classrooms, with these different books? Because even in these books, because I did a video where I was saying like, in Florida, our governor banned these books because I have seen different videos where parents was at the school boards talking about these books, and these books are low-key porn. They're actually showing pictures of two boys kissing, two boys touching, two boys having sex. They're showing pictures of that in these books that they're saying is just literary. Oh, it's not sexual. But to me, it reminds me of these books that adult women's be getting. That's you read them and they're very sexual books, and these are the things they're exposing kids. And that's the worst thing you can ever do to a kid, is expose them to sex at a very young age where they really don't understand. They don't understand their bodies. They don't understand anything. And they shouldn't be exposed to this type of stuff. So it's like, is this happen because of information that he's seeing and, stuff that he's seeing in school, all this queer theory and queer this that they're pushing in school? Did that pique his interest that he said, well, I'm gonna find a victim and do the same thing to him that I'm reading about? Like I said, was it at home? And then I also did a video, well, not a video, but I shared a video that I seen where they're saying, like, with YouTube now, that before, if you had YouTube, you could have it where your kids could only see children, information, stuff that's geared for kids. But now YouTube have it where they're pushing queer theory and queer this and queer that on these very young kids. And these are like adults talking to these kids about being gay. And then they're also saying that, Facebook is also saying that, like, if a woman, a real woman want to expose her breast, she can't. But if a transgender person wants to expose their breast, they can. So it's like, with all this sex talk in the air, kids are going to hear it. They're going to wonder what's going on. They're going to be curious. They're going to be looking here, looking there. And even if you're the type of parent that, you got everything on lock, who's to say if your kids' parents are the same way as you are? Are they just as diligent to make sure their kids aren't getting exposed to that? And so if your kids get around that, are they showing something to your child on their phone? So it's like, for kids, for parents, I truly feel sorry for parents in this day and age, that you can't even feel comfortable sending your child to school to get an education because they're getting everything but educated. They're not getting an education. They're getting harassed. They're getting bullied. They're getting all this sexual information thrown at them. They're getting put in the middle of debates. They're getting lied to by adults. They're dealing with, oh, I feel like I'm a woman. I feel like I'm a man. I want to change my sex. They're going to school getting all this, I can lie. And this is another thing that I don't like with how things are going on. A child, like I said, a child can go to school, a male child can go to school and say, I feel like I'm a girl and I want to be, and his name can be Tom. And he said, well, I want you to call me Tina. All through school, the teachers are going to call that little boy Tina, but they're not going to say anything to the parents. So you're teaching your kids, they're teaching kids to be dishonest to the parent when the parent are the ones that need to know everything that's going on so they can protect their kids. So that's the other thing that made me think, are these kids are not saying anything because it's like they're taught to keep secrets from their parents because they can't go home and say, Mom, my teacher is calling Tim Tina. You see what I'm saying? Are they teaching kids to hold secrets from their parents? And then that puts them in positions that they're now in danger. Because if they're being taught to lie, because that's basically what they're doing. They're teaching these kids to lie. They're teaching these kids to be sneaky. They're teaching these kids to withhold things from their parents when it shouldn't be like that. Because I know one time when my child was in elementary school, and my mom was saying to him that he can keep, I forget exactly what happened, but she said something to him and I asked him about it, and she was like, no, because it's our secret. And it's like I went off on her about it. I'm like, no, I'm his mother. I need to know everything. You can't tell him that he could keep a secret with me, because what if something go on with him and someone else tell him they're doing something to hurt him, but they're telling him, oh, you can keep a secret, then he's going to think, well, Grandma said I could keep a secret from my mom, so it must be okay. I can keep this secret. And so that's why I was trying to get her to understand. Never tell a child to lie to their parents. Never tell a child to keep a secret from their parents. Even if you are a parent or even if you are their grandparent, don't do that, because what you're putting in their mind, because they don't understand how to distinguish. So what you're telling is, oh, I can lie to my mother. So if they find themselves in a situation and they don't want to get in trouble, you already done co-signed to them that it's okay to lie to their mother or to their father or whoever. So don't ever put a child in that position. Always tell them to be honest. If you don't want a child to know, don't tell the child. That's plain and simple. But never tell a child to be dishonest to their parent, because their parents are the ones that need to know. If something happened to them, they need to be on it. And if they're asking their child and their child not being honest with them, or their child just not being honest with them to the point of they're just not saying anything, they're not lying to their parents. It's just that there's something they may have questioned their parents about. Mom, how come this is, I'm on a school bus. How come I see Bob doing this to Billy? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why, and why is this going on? Why is he telling Billy to pull his pants down? Even if a child is seeing this but not saying anything, because in school they're teaching them to keep secrets. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you can't raise kids, especially in the world today, to be to the point, because we had this thing where you taught kids about, this is a good touch, this is a bad touch. If someone is touching you, you say something. If someone is, someone's doing this to you, you say something. And so they're not teaching kids about that. That's what they used to teach in school. If anybody touch you here, touch you there, or they if it's a girl, you got a dress on, they touch you up on your dress, or they put their hands down your pants, you say something. These kids are not being taught that, because these pedophiles, because that's basically what they are, pedophiles in school. It's okay with these kids being harassed. And I don't understand, as an adult, how can you take the side of an adult over a child when it comes to their safety? I don't care who you is and what label you put on me. If I'm in a position to stand up for a child compared to standing up for an adult, the adult feelings are going to get hurt, because I'm going to take the child's side. I'm going to protect the child, because that child cannot protect themselves. That child you're an adult, you can walk away. Your feelings get hurt, you can get over it. But who is this child supposed to go to if they if they're telling, if everybody telling them don't say anything, don't say anything, don't say anything, no one's there to protect them, no one's there to look out for them, no one's there to make sure they're okay, who they're going to tell, who they're going to go to. And especially with them being so young, because they're taught to obey your teachers. They're taught to follow rules. If your teacher tell you to do this, you better listen to your teacher. That's what they're taught. So when they go to school and their teacher's telling them BS, they don't know that. But they're thinking, okay, I'm supposed to listen to my teacher. I'm supposed to do what my teacher says. And the most, all this time they've been like, defund the police, defund these goddamn teachers. If these teachers are going to be teaching this mess in school, they don't need to get paid. I'm sorry. If you are a teacher and you cannot see what you're doing to these kids are damaging them, is wrong. I don't care what law they done passed I don't care what law they done passed. It should always be protect these kids first. And so let me stop. But anyway, it's that you're at this point that it's like kids are not, as parents, I'm not blaming the parents whatsoever, because as parents, unless you are in a position where you can homeschool your kids, or you're in a position where you have a co-op of parents and you know these parents and you trust these parents and you say, okay, I'm not in a position where I can be homeschooling my kids, but I can send them to this person's house or send them to this person's house as a co-op of homeschooling parents. And I can do, I'm able to send my child there. The only other option you have is to continue to send them to public school. And it's unfortunate that public school is not a safe place for your kids like it was in the past. That was somewhere you could send your kids and expect them to get an education. Now it's like they're getting everything but educated in these schools today. So I just wanted to kind of, bring that up, because like I understand they're not going to really talk about it because these are kids, they are so young. But it's like I really want them to talk to the child. The youngest child, yes, he needs counseling. I pray for him, I pray for his mother and everything like that, because I know, that's very devastating for her to know that her son was suffering like this all this time and she didn't even know about it. And like I said, if he wasn't missing, if she wasn't curious about what happened with his book bag, would they have ever realized what was going on with this child? And so like I said, the bus driver, it's like, how can this be going on for 6 months on your bus and you don't see anything? I understand you got to drive, but you don't notice nothing. You don't hear anything. You just, one time you thought it was a fight going on, you pulled the bus over. But what happened after that point? What did you see? What did you say? Did you question anyone and say, okay, what's going on? Or did you just pull the bus over and get everyone quiet and start driving again, never leaving your seat and stuff like that? And that's why they need bus monitors on the bus also, because I understand, like I said, I understand the bus driver can't do everything. They can't drive the bus and truly watch the kids. So that's why you have a second person on that bus who can see what's really going on, who can turn around and really make sure all the kids are where they're supposed to be, doing what they're supposed to do and keeping their hands to themselves. So each bus do need a bus monitor on there for the safety of the kids. And yeah, but really talk to that other kid to find out, did this really just pop in your head, or were you exposed? Did something happen to you and that now you're projecting this on another child? What's really going on? Was it information that you're getting from school? Are you seeing these books and that's what's making you curious? That's what made you want to, do this to another child? So they really need to find out what's going on, because you can't expose a child to sexual material and expect nothing to happen. At least one child is going to get curious, that they're really going to want to go try it out for themselves. So they really need to rethink this whole thing. And this is election season, going on, and y'all really need to think about who y'all want as, because we got open borders. There's no safety. There's no this. There's no that. And like I said, I'm not telling anyone who to vote for, who not to vote for, anything like that. But it's like every man for themselves at this point. It's like you can't really depend on politicians. You can't depend on the president, the vice president, or anyone, because if these people are passing these laws and they know it's damaging to kids, and they still passing these laws, they still letting men use women's bathroom, that right there let you know they don't give a damn about you. So that's basically all I want to say. Peace.